Thank you to our MCs. Wow, it is great to see such a huge crowd. Give ourselves a big hand. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat malam, salam sejahtera, salam reformasi. Tachahau. Vanakkam. Today is day number 8 of the campaign. We have 7 more days. But as they say in politics, 7 days can be a long time. So we cannot be complacent. Oh, before I continue, I forgot to mention I'm the filler act before we get Dato Ambiga Sreenevasan. Can we give her a big hand? Do you know, if you go to some more remote parts of the country, not like Bandar Utama, you know, and you talk to Tamil folks, especially the women folk, they call Ambiga Irambu Penmani. Irambu Penmani. You know what that means? The Iron Lady. Don't you think that's an appropriate term? We didn't create that, they created it. Anyway, that's Ambiga's story to tell. I will speak until I feel my voice needs a short break, then I'll hand it over to her and move on to the next event. As I was saying, 7 days can be a long time in politics, but we have to hang in there because there is a good feeling all over the country. There is a good feeling that we are going to see something really historic. I think there's no other word for it. Historic on the 5th of May, where we will remove UMNO Barisan Nasional as the federal government for the first time in Malaysian history. You know, I came back to this country in 1986 after my studies overseas. I started law practice. I got into activism, human rights activism in particular. And this flowed from my exposure in the UK. After my first degree here, studying law, and the much more stimulating environment in the UK drew me towards activism, which I carried on when I came back. And that led me right into an interesting episode in Malaysian history called Operasi Lalang. Have you all remember that? Yeah. You all remember that? And who's the infamous person responsible for that? So that was my introduction to democracy a la Malaysia. And then, a few months down the road, it was the sacking of Tun Saleh Abbas. And I can see my lawyer friends in the audience too. We were all part of that. We watched that episode with shock and horror as we saw the institutions being damaged, even destroyed. Well, damaged severely. So that was the path I started on. And you know, at that point in time, I mean, being a student of politics also, besides law, me and my activist friends, we knew we were in for a long haul. Change in Malaysia was not going to be easy because we were dealing with a very hegemonic government, which was essentially authoritarian, but had the facade of a democracy. And that's quite a clever act too. And But I stayed out of politics. I stayed out of politics because at that point in time, the racial frame of politics had no appeal for me, for persons like me. In 1998, things changed. When, after the sacking of Anwar Ibrahim, the Reformasi movement began, and myself and other friends, we had people like Tian Chua, my colleague Tian Chua, Irene Fernandez, and many others, who said to ourselves, it's time to stop being outside the political movement, because it was people who were on the move. And if we didn't get into it, we would be left out. We needed to be in it to shape it. So that started my journey in politics in 1998. I joined Parti Rakyat Malaysia at that time as a formal member in 1999, was named a vice president, worked to merge it with Parti Keadilan Nasional then, which is now Parti Keadilan Rakyat. And that is the journey which I traveled until today. And of course in 2008, and I think many of you were part of that first tsunami in 2008, where we saw for the first time in Malaysian history, a substantial opposition came into parliament. 82 parliament seats, 5 states. And all because of you, ladies and gentlemen, and many others like you all over the country. I stand here today because of you, and I remember that. But now, we've got something even more momentous about to happen.